And I think that this is one of the verses that teaches that in 4 different ways, and it teaches us that the Bible is true. And so the first point that I want to look at is number 1, the Bible, all my points are going to start with the Bible if you're taking notes. It's a reliable collection. I'm going to write these down as well. Reliable collection of historical documents, okay? Of history. I'm just going to write history. Can somebody tell me what reliable means? Trustworthy, right? So the Bible is a trustworthy document because Peter's writing this letter. Let me give you a little background. He's writing to a Greek context. And for those of you who haven't heard about Greek mythology, there was a ton of Greek gods that the people that he's writing to were kind of interfered with during the day. So they were, hey, do we follow Zeus, right? Do we follow Hercules? Who's seen Hercules? Good movie, right? Hercules is a great movie. So he's writing saying, hey, those are all myths, right? Zeus isn't real. Aphrodite isn't real. I'm saying that what I'm talking about now, what I experienced, was something that actually happened. This is historical. And so when it comes to the DNA of the Bible, if you want to write some of these down, the Bible is the most researched book of all time. There are numerous books out there in literature and works of art out there that are studied, but the Bible is studied more than any other book. And so here's a couple of stats for you. The Bible was written over 1,500 years, all right? 1,500 years. The Bible has 40 different authors, right? And the majority of those authors never met each other. A couple of them did, right, during the New Testament or kind of some during the Old. The majority of those 40 authors have never met each other, yet there's never a break in the storyline, right? You could read the Bible front to back and be like, man, this is a beautiful book that goes all together. So those 40 authors penned this book. It was written in 3 different continents. 3 continents. The continents of Europe. Sorry, I'm trying to think from your perspective. So like Europe right here, right? Asia over here, and Africa, right? So on 3 different continents. So it's already broadening, right? 3 continents, 40 authors, 1,500 years, 3 languages. The Old Testament was written in Hebrew. The New Testament was written in Greek. And then parts of the Old Testament are written in Aramaic, which is another language, okay? Not only that, though, if you do, who knows what archaeology is, right? People who go and dig down and find like ancient documents or ancient things. Well, there have been over 25,000 digs in the Middle East alone just to look for biblical accounts of things. And time again, they dig up something that is in our Bibles. So history continually proves to be true when it comes to the stories that historically happened in the Bible. And some of the things that they've found over these years is they found thousands of copies of the Old Testament, like thousands, right? And so when you compare them and you look, okay, Exodus 10 says this, and like there's hundreds of copies of this, so man, we know what Exodus 10 says. So we could rely upon the numerous manuscripts that we have, and same with the New Testament. We have like 5,700 copies of the New Testament. When it comes to people who wrote down the original words, they wrote down from the originals, and if you piece them all together, right, the only like minor hiccups that the text might have from the people copying is like they may have said the one too many times, right? All the time when I text people, I say the all the time. Sometimes they did that when they were writing. The originals were perfect, all right, but the copies of the originals might have a little hiccup or an and there. But I'm not saying the Bible has errors. I'm not saying the Bible has any lies, okay? But what I am saying is when you look at the most textual critics, the scholars who don't like the Bible and want to disprove it, there's a guy named Bart Ehrman. He tried to say that he tries to disprove the Bible, but as he studied the oldest texts, he said the Bible is at least 99% accurate to the original. Whereas when you look at other historical ancient texts like the Odyssey or the Iliad written by Homer, we have about 60 to 70% accuracy, and the latest manuscripts that we have are probably 700 years apart. So it's just, there's not that much reliability. But we have thousands of copies of the New Testament, which is just amazing. You could study this stuff more. I don't want to spend too much time here, but it's just, the Bible is a reliable collection of historical documents, all right? That's the first point. I want you to know that. So we're not even into what the spiritual realm is around the Bible. This is just, if you are an atheist would agree that the Bible's history is correct, okay? So that's point number 1. that's what we see. Peter saying, these are myths. What I'm telling you is the truth.